Oh, testes. Get your first month of multi-streaming overlay library. No. Pop out chats. Let's do a testes. Let's get some lights in here. I want fireplace. Scenes. I love technology. There you go. Hey Lamer, hey Andrew. Yeah, I'm just setting it up. I have not Hey Westy. I don't know if I should because I don't have multi-screen on or on my Windows machine. I don't know if I'm actually wait, why open? What did you post here, Lamer? Why open source are not enough? We could maybe do some live reactions. I don't know. Oh, god damn it. What VM? Should we start up a VM? I don't know. I have SUSE. I think that's running Manjaro. Then I have Ubuntu that I think is is running Mint. Then I have Windows 11 and Debian. We could start up Debian. I haven't looked at the Debian VM in forever. Let's do this here. So I like Michael Horn, okay? Like, he's not a bad dude. He's definitely not a bad dude. He's just he has a lot to learn. I think that's the best way of saying it. Just give me a second here. Can I do 1080p? There you go. So if I go into, is it Windows Capture? There you go, buddy. Oh. Why is that not lining up? Am I not using 1080p? I am. Anyway. Oh, that's why. God damn it. There you go, I think. What's it catching on the top? Aha. Just give me a second. Apparently I did some shit. Yoink. Yeah, I need to get into Hyper-V, but I've been fucking around with Dockers a lot. Oh, let's do that, I guess. I need to take away snapping. Bear with me here. That's good enough. Ooh. Let's see if there's any Debian upgrades. Oh, there is. Oh, cops. Oh. Cops is owned by Apple. Whoops. Linux users, you're using Apple technology. Uh-oh. VirtualBox is perfect for like Hyper-V and Dockers and all of those level 1 emulators and stuff like that. I think you can call Dockers for level 1. They are mostly only useful for corporate situations. Most users that just want to fab around just use VirtualBox, VMware, or something like that. And of course, I forgot to get something to drink, and I have sodas today, so I'm going to get that later on, and that means that I'm going to bath. I love Linux users. They always flex their low IQ. Let's see if people are getting mad about that one. Oh man, I just love Linux users. They are so funny. Cops, yep. Let's use Vivaldi just for the fun of it. Oh, there's that fucking screen bug in KDE. Of course there is. It actually helps if I can see my keyboard. And I probably misspelled a lot of things. Yeah, developer Apple Inc. Accept. Here you go. You're welcome. I haven't. Hey, Miles. I haven't. Hey, Anton. I haven't kept up with VMware. I don't like using it. VMware is great for corporations, had a lot of corporate technologies, but yeah. Why is this so slow? What are you doing? Yeah, I like Eds a lot. Holy fuck, this is slow. That's another thing with Linux. Depending on where you live in the world, you may get crappy repos, even if you do the whole repo switching thing or benchmarking shit. God damn it. So tomorrow's video is going to be over 30 minutes long. So the video is called Terminally Online Brain Rotted Linux Users. How about that title? That's going to fuck off and piss off a lot of fucking Linux users. And I'm basically making fun of them for being anime titty-loving, relationship-less, sex-less incels, more or less. I just don't use the word incel. I'm just going so ham on them. I love it. But I feel proud of the name, terminally online brain rotted Linux users. And I'm making sure to addressing that I'm only talking about the toxic Linux users. So make sure that I'm actually also doing a call to action, where I want the good Linux users to kick out the dude just described himself. So I'm not terminally online. I definitely don't have brain rot. I am a Linux user, but I also have a job, and I get sex. So I don't know what we are going to do, all snaps. Oh, how to prove the low IQ. How to prove a low IQ. Yeah. Of course I'm going to fuck a girl online. Of course I'm going to do that. Of course I'm going to fill my job. So all you terminally online brain dead idiots can be toxic to my boss and other people. Of course I'm going to do that. That's like logic 101 that you do that. It's like, come on, man. Fucking dudes. Oh, God. Oh. Holy shit. Like, I like the fact that... What was it like? From 1970-something to 2020, we managed to grow the collective IQ points. And all of that accumulations of IQ points, we have lost that since 2020 to 2024. There are studies going on right now, psychology studies and stuff like figuring out what the fuck went wrong. That humanity as a whole managed to improve themselves intellectually from the 70s to 2020. And we basically lost 30 years-ish of evolution in 4 years. It's a super interesting thing. It's a super interesting... I think I saw it on a Joe Rogan podcast or something like that, where some psychiatrist or something like that was talking about it. I can't remember who the fuck it was. It don't matter. Require restart. Let's restart. Let's do that thing. No, I don't want to see that information again. Oh, there's so much shit that I don't need on KDE. How's Oprah looking? Oh, it's still glitching out. Hello, friend. What the fuck is Hero Wars? Of course we have Twitch Momondo. So there's some traveling shit in here. You, Oprah, yeah. Download Vivaldi. So the whole Oprah Vivaldi relationship is a funny one. Because the people that started the people that started Oprah made Vivaldi because, or some of the people that started Oprah made Vivaldi because they didn't like the direction that Oprah was taking. And then Oprah got bought out by a Chinese investment firm or tech firm, one of those two things. Where these here are still based in, I think it's Oslo or something like that. I think either Swedish or Norwegian. Let's love Vivaldi, donate. Let's just click on that one. That should take us to Vivaldi.com. Can we see about where they are from? Well, I am running in dark mode though. Every browser is another fuck of Oslo, Norway, yeah. So, what is it called? Chromium. So 99% of all browsers are based on Chrome. It's just a sad reality of it. And Chrome itself used to be based on WebKit, that is Apple technology. So if you're using any of these browsers, you are based on Chrome. Arc, Amazon Silk. I haven't looked into Amazon Silk. Avast, Commando Tracking, DuckDuckGo, Edge, Netfront, Samsung Internet, Opera, Vivaldi, some FOSS ones, Falcon. Yeah. Brave, another one, yeah. Switch to Linux just talked about how Google pays 40 million out of the 60 million. Yeah, exactly. I have a video about that with LibreOffice. The LibreOffice one was actually meant to be made for tomorrow, but I'm making that other one just to piss off some people because I find it funny. Yeah, it's the tech world. A lot of shit happening in there, man. So Microsoft just updated something in Placer. And they didn't do the documentation before they did the upgrade. So that means that they probably have done it now, but when they did that upgrade like last week or the week before, that meant that a lot of things don't work in Placer as they used to do, and there's no way of knowing how to make it work because they haven't documented it. That's the tech world for you. And this is not that Microsoft doing this. Linux people do this all the fucking time, especially because they don't have the... when we're talking finance, they just don't have the people to help out the projects or donating money so they can hire good documentation people. That's why we see a lot of bad documentation in FOSS world. Like, don't get me wrong, there's no excuse for what Microsoft doing. Like, it was so bad that we had to scrap or go over to another technology because of it. Like, it's super bad. Microsoft used to be really good at documentation. But when the whole Sadell, whatever the fuck his name is, took over, it just went down the hill, man. Now they're just trying to put out features without documenting them. Which is super bad for developers. They have like Maui that replaces Xamarin, and Maui is like barely not maintained, but still maintained, and the documentation is all over the place, and the technology world has an issue at the moment with bad documentation and bad developer support. And this is like in general. It's just not Microsoft. It's not a Linux problem. At least you can understand it under Linux. Like, if I'm going to throw a bone to Linux, I can say, I understand why your documentation is bad, because nobody's willing to pay the money for it. Nobody's willing to sit down and devote their time to help the project out doing it for free. And if you have, let's say, $100, should I spend that on fixing a bug or updating documentation? You probably will update the bugs first than doing the documentation. I get that. So I kind of give, community-driven projects a little bit of a pass when it comes to that. Paid fucking, like Oracle, Google, Microsoft, there's no excuse for them for having bad documentation. Like, no excuse for it. Like, we are paying a lot of money to use their services. At least fucking have the documentation right. It's not super hard to make usable docs. It's really not that difficult. It just takes time and money. Because it's not that difficult. Again, you hire the right people and they cost money. You devote the amount of time they need, which also costs money. But everyone wants new features, So that's where, things are being put into. Like Mac and Apple, Apple and Microsoft, when it comes to OSs, just like Android and iOS, they don't compete on technology anymore. They compete on features. So right now, the big feature everyone is competing with is AI. So everyone wants the next big AI thing. And everyone is putting a lot of money into companies that use the word AI because in hope that their whatever AI shit they are doing is exploding and they get a lot of money return. So all of that, like, that's why we have recall. Because they knew Apple will come out with Apple Intelligence. So Microsoft have to do something with AI. They had to do something other than Copilot. Because Copilot is more or less useless if you're not a developer. And even for a developer, it's more or less useless. Like, if you use Gemini as, like, I tend to use, so if I go in here and do, I don't know if it works because I'm not logged in, how to do a class in Python that hold the, let's say, variables, if I can spell, of a human. I don't know if it can do that for us. But Copilot has fucked up lately a lot. So this is what I love about Bing, is that you can do this. Recall. So here's the thing: recall is not going to have any impact on Microsoft or Windows whatsoever. Whatsoever. It's not going to have an impact whatsoever. Copilot is going to have a bigger impact than any of that has to have. Because it's a more or less useless feature that most people are going to disable anyway. Or if they are really tech savvy, they're going to respin an ISO that just don't have it, just like with Cortana. What you're saying right now, everyone said that about Cortana back in the days. Nobody used Cortana. And now that's being replaced with Copilot. So if I did the same here in what the fuck is the Google one called? Gemini. Not only will it be instantly done, they will give you better explanations. There's things that you have to pay for with ChatGPT. Google Gemini gives you for free. So they go more in depth. They kind of make a tutorial for you also. And they give you more resources where you can find out. But if I need something to be done, I just Google or search it with Bing and stuff like that. I use this all the time at work. All the fucking time at work. Because if you need something you haven't done in 6 months, you just type it in here and it will give you something like this here. And if this don't work, then I go to Gemini. And I'm like, can you make a class to do this? Or can you make a thing that do this? And then it will... And then I can be like, can you explain this in further detail? And it explains it in further detail. Gemini is amazing. Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. The AI summaries are really, really good. Like, Bing is a really fucking good search engine. Super good search engine. I've noticed when it comes to anything with that's tech-related, I find what I want faster and better with Bing than I do on Google search. However, if I want entertainment news, if I want to buy something, Google is the place to go. So if I want to, let's say, look into getting a new screen or monitor or watch or clothes or graphic card, whatever the fuck it may be, I always use Google. Because they are on top of, like, if you want to spend money, Google is your place to go. They can help you out spending money so fucking fast. Like, they really know how to make you spend your cash. But I barely use Google at work anymore. It's only at home, like I said, if I want something like a commodity, like I want to buy something. Image search, I like Google's image search better than Bing's also. But for technology and coding, development, research, Bing just takes the cake. Because it has a good mix with the AI and stuff like that. And again, if Bing fails, then I go to Google Gemini. Because it's so it's so weird. I think we have one guy at work. He paid for ChatGPT, and we showed him Gemini, and he was like, "What are you paying for that? Nothing." Not only was what we did faster in Gemini than it is on ChatGPT, a lot of the things, the features Gemini gives, like explanations and stuff like that, you had to pay for with a monthly subscription with ChatGPT. I just Google search just gone downhill the last 5 years. It's so bad that there are videos, like there are video essays right now on YouTube where they explain the decline of Google search. Like, I think Google may be in problem when it comes to the search engine front. They are really slacking and lacking off quite a lot. They have so many other technologies that I don't even think Google search are their main breadwinner anymore. It's stuff like Android, IoT devices, phones, all that other fucking things. I think that's why they make most of their money. That's also why they put more, you know. So here's the thing, Google has always had AI in their search. They just call it the algorithm. But they like a lot of things today, they just put the AI sticker on, but we've been using it forever because it's just machine learning / an algorithm. But it's more sexy nowadays if they stick the AI sticker on it. And a lot of people think that they are using AI when they are not using AI, because there's no like one. Well, I don't think there's like a set rule for when you can call it AI or not. Like, it's not like if you let's say, if you're calling it AI, it has to follow a specific guidelines according to the FDA or whoever the fuck regulates that way wherever you live on Earth, in the world. So everyone can call anything for AI, more or less. Yeah, Bing can be cluttered, but so Bing is a fault of the Windows thing. So Bing does what Microsoft always do. They give you so much more information that you actually need. You know, here they are like comparing Rust to Bing to Python. I don't need that. Why the fuck are you doing that? You know, like. But that's a Windows thing. Microsoft is always to satisfy the most amount of people. Every time they do something, they try to put as much stuff into it as possible. That's why Windows look cluttered. That's why Bing is cluttered. Blah blah blah. Yeah, Brave search, like Brave in of itself, is super controversial. Because apparently those people on Brave are doing some weird ass shit in the back end. But that's just like rumors. I don't know if that's actually the case. I do like Debian. Debian has really gotten good. Oh, well, Brave is like, they are not as wholesome as you think they are. Let me put it that way. There's been accusations of doing stuff they say they don't do and stuff like that. Just throwing away my banana. Banana. Also, I don't want it in Danish. Oh, did I just change it to Danish? I did. Danish. Classes and objects. So Wilson, Google actually do something they do that on purpose. So researchers have found out that Google on purpose don't give you the right results in the first page. their best search resource is like mid, lower, first page, second page. Because they want you to scroll down to see more ads. They do that on purpose. So they will give you a lot of meaningless shit, so you scroll down. And then at the lower part of the first page to this, and then the second page is actually where the best relevant information are. That's one of the reasons why I moved away from Google a lot. But they are researchers that have found that out, and I think Google is in some sort of legal trouble because of it now or something. I'm not sure. But they could be. They could be. Amazon Silk. It's a mobile browser, got you. Google is being sued, Valve is in a lawsuit, Apple is in a lawsuit. I think Microsoft is the only one that's not in a lawsuit right now. Funny enough. Yeah, they are talking about dividing it up, yeah. Yeah. Go to Scotland. Oh, well, it's going to be colder. It's going to be more miserable weather. So a lot of rain and humidity. If you're okay with that, Scotland is a beautiful place, man. Bing, I hate to say this, but Bing is actually a fucking good, decent search engine. Like, Bing is not so... The only poison with Bing is like the information overload. If you can deal with that information overload, Bing is actually super good. DuckDuckGo apparently is doing everything they say that they are not doing. I think they've been sued or about to be sued also. Yeah, but you have to remember, in Seattle, compared to Scotland, the temperature is super different. Because Scotland has like sea all around it and stuff like that. And I don't think it's as big as Seattle or not Seattle, Washington. Sorry. So you will get way more wind and unpredicted weather and yeah, like if you like the Washington weather, but you're okay with massively lower temperatures for most of the year than you're used to, it will be a perfect place. VPF office. So the reason why a lot of YouTubers are not, hey, from Sweden, the host is Debian. So the reason why they don't talk a lot about VPS office is because it's actually a commercial product. And I also think there's a lot of proprietary bits in it, and I also think it's Chinese sponsored or owned. But there's a lot of reasons why they don't like talking about it. And oh wait, the host is Windows, the guest is Ubuntu. Sorry. I'm streaming from Windows right now, but the VM is Linux, Debian. Yeah, but Linux users don't... When it comes to Linux users, like most Linux users, at least most vocal Linux users, you can throw logic out of the window. Because for Linux users, the tribe if you're going to use like a more kind word to describe them, is way more important than logic, critical thinking, and truth. Because a lot of Linux, that's I need to put something up because I need to remember to talk about that later on, by the way. Oh. Because this is something a lot of people don't even know or talk about. But anyway, so a lot of Linux users, the vocal minority, the toxic minority, the terminally online Linux users, for them, Linux is their whole identity. So if you go on and watch their social media profiles, a lot of them, just like, you know, the blue-haired gaming journalists will have like activist and pro this and that in their description. Those terminally online crazy-ass Linux users will have proud FOSS advocate, Linux advocate, GNU Linux, whatever the fuck it is. Not like a developer. They may be in there somewhere. But that would be some of the first things they will say about themselves is FOSS and Linux. That's their whole identity. They don't have anything else. It's not like 10, 30-year industry veteran in coding languages, proud father, husband, or wife, mom, or something like. No. It's almost always FOSS, GNU Linux advocate, open source developer, and stuff like that. What people put in their bio, for the most part, with most people, tells you what their priority in life is. Because what people put in their social media bios are the first thing people are going to read about them. So it's like you going up to a person and say, hello, who are you? And that's what's in that short description in their bio. Unless you are like a public person, a YouTuber, or you're representing a company, or it's your like work account and stuff like that. But if you look at people's personal accounts, that's who they are. That's their identity. And those people, they don't have many friends. They don't maybe not have a good social life in general. They may be socially awkward. You know, a lot of things in life is not going well for them. If you compare to their peers, at least. So they find this Linux thing where they feel included. You know, they feel people are liking them. They feel that people are welcoming them. They are talking to them and stuff like that. So they feel as a form of belonging to the Linux tribe. Because they found people like them. Social awkward, a little bit antisocial maybe. You know, terminally online, living living for Linux, living for FOSS. So they adopt that mentality, that way of thought, because they give them something, so they give the community their loyalty, basically. They outside of Linux and FOSS, they don't feel like they belong. They don't feel, you know, looked at, cared for, whatever the fuck it is. In FOSS Linux, they do. So that's what FOSS Linux gives them. And in return, a lot of those terminally toxic online Linux users feel like they have to give their loyalty back to them because they are my family. They care about me, which they don't, by the way. But that's what they think. So if you are then going against that tribe, you are attacking their identity. You are attacking their way of life, basically. It would be like me attacking people from Sweden and say that they are bread-eating drunk motherfuckers that are ugly as fuck and high all the fucking time and only come to Denmark to drink our good beer and moving along and being creeps towards our women because Danish women are way more beautiful than Swedish women. That would be like, you know, that will trigger Swedish people for me saying that, just like it's you know, you're going against the tribe of Linux, the tribe of FOSS. And those are the people that are the angry people in comment sections, on forums, on discords, and all that fucking shit. Yeah, I saw you, Anton, that's why I did this. You know, you are attacking their reality. And people that have anything else, they have a well-functioned life besides being a FOSS Linux advocate or fan. They don't give a fuck about that. Okay, what? Okay, you are not liking my hobby. I don't give a fuck. I will fuck my wife tonight, so I won't give a fuck. You know, like, oh, you're attacking my ideas of open source. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to work, going out with the boys, having some beers while you're sitting here and terminally fucking online, raging in a forum post on YouTube. The people that are the most angry on the internet are the people that have the least satisfaction in their life in general. They are the people that have the least amount of things in their life in general. No, I'm not throwing wild guesses. This is exactly what Anton is saying. This is based on tribalism. It's based on religion to some degree. And it's based on the pack animal that humans are. This is rooted in psychological studies that's been done way before the internet. That's also why a lot of people, you know, you are defensive over your own family. You don't like people attacking your family, either verbally or physically. Of course, physically is super bad. But if someone say that your wife is ugly as fuck, you will get super defensive. That's how a Linux user feel. Or it don't have to be it could be like a New York Giants fan feel. It could be how a Sun Microsystem fan feel. If you're criticizing New York Giants, or if you're criticizing Sun Microsystem that Rip in Peace is not around anymore. It's any tribe, it's any cult, it's any like, again, this is how some Danish people would feel if a Swedish person said bad things about Denmark. It's human nature. Like, you feel obligated to protect your tribe because the tribe protects you. So you get more triggered when people are attacking things that means more to you. So the more the thing means to you, the more triggered you will get, the more angry you will get. Especially if you're not emotionally, what is it called? What the fuck is the word I'm looking for? Emotionally steady with the subject, I think you will call it. So if you're like not stable emotionally, what is it called? So when you're certain in something, like I'm 100% sure that this is my friend, for example. You know. So if you are on rock, like if your beliefs or your thought about something is not 100% dealt with, like you're not 100% sure this is exactly what I mean, what I believe in, and nothing can change my mind, that will also make you even more triggered because someone like me is putting doubt into you. And when someone like me is putting doubt into you, you're like, uh-oh, did I choose the wrong tribe? Did I choose the wrong people to associate with? Did I make the wrong choice? Oh shit, I may have done that. I don't like that. So they get angry. How dare you make me think that the people I thought I belonged to, you are now telling me that I may not belong to, and I'm like, I'm now questioning myself. Why are you making me questioning myself? And that is because you're not emotionally or psychologically 100%, what is it called? Done with that subject. I'm not talking about Linux, I'm talking about Linux. And for a lot of people, Linux is like a person, it's life. Exactly, Rosio. And that's why a lot of terminally online toxic Linux users, it's not emotionally mature. It's emotionally dealt with with the subject. Like, if you like coffee with cream, and you think you tried every fucking combination you can put, or any condiment you can put into coffee. You're like, I like coffee with cream better, and it has to be this cream brand. Nothing I say or do can change your mind. You will not be angry if I say I don't like it. You will not be angry, or you will not be irritated if I'm like, try this, try this, try this. You'll be like, I made up my mind. This is what I like. But if you tell yourself, I like coffee with this brand of cream, but I'm still not 100% sure. What if there is better brands out there? And I'm like, try this, try this. You're like, why do you want me to try all these fucking different creamers? Just let me fucking enjoy my creamer. I like this brand. Just leave me alone. Because I'm rocking your foundation. You know, I'm now, because I'm like, try this brand, try fucking cinnamon instead of creamers. You're like, oh, this is too much, man. Like, I thought I liked this brand, but maybe I don't. And that's because you're not 100% certain of that choice. There's a word for it, I can't remember it. It is a psychological word. Just like, let's say you find a spouse, and you're like, this is the person for me for the rest of my life. Like, no doubt about it. No other girl, boy, fucking alien can make you deviate from that. It's not content. It's not content, no, it's another word. Like, nothing, nobody can make you think the grass is green on the other side. Because you are 100% sure in your mind that you made the right choice. So nothing can sway you. Nothing. Not money. You know, nothing. But sadly, or whatever the fuck you record it, as humans, you know, us humans, we rarely get that far with something. We make a choice, but we're always questioning that choice. We think we found the right job, we think we found the right spouse. Then something that seems to be better comes along, and we start to question ourselves. Is it really better? Everyone does this. And the more uncertain you are that the choice you made, it was the right choice, the easier you get unsettled. The easier you get triggered, the easier it will be for you to try this new thing. Change the job, be unfaithful, whatever the fuck it is. That's human nature, basically. But that's what people have with Linux. They find their, you know, some people find that with working out. They never been feeling to belong anywhere in life, and then they go to the gym, and all the gym pros and gym girls are like, hey, welcome in, and, you know, helping them out, and taking them out for dinner, and having, you know, beer with the boys, and they start to work out all the fucking time, because that's their tribe. That's, you know, they found a place to belong. And then if someone is like, oh, why the fuck are you working out all the time? It's stupid and it's meaningless. You are now triggering them because you are attacking their foundation. You're attacking the choice that they think they made that was right for them. And the more uncertain they are in that, the more triggered they will be. If it's with like relationships and stuff like that, you will call it, you have not emotionally dealt with it. There's undealt with emotional baggage that you've not dealt with. So if an ex still triggers you, for example, that means that there's undealt with baggage with your ex you have not dealt with yet. There's past trauma going on, basically. But it's something else when it comes to like tribes and belongings and stuff like that. But it's the same kind of thing. And that's why a lot of Linux users, they get triggered by people like me. And that's also why it's so fucking easy for people like me to trigger Linux people. Because if you just like understand a little bit about human nature, you understand why those Linux people act the way they do. You know? And there's nothing more fun and entertaining for people on Earth than seeing someone lose their fucking marbles. Why do you think Karen videos are so popular? Why do you think rage videos are so popular? Why do you think drama is so popular? What is drama, basically? It's people talking shit about each other and getting angry at each other because they're talking shit about each other. Drama is exactly what, people are attacking other people's belief systems, foundations, and they don't like that. So they get into a beef with each other. And people love drama. Like, I hate fucking, TMC and all those fucking, I hate drama channels on YouTube, but they make so much money. Like, they make so much money. Look at your fucking, Netflix and all that shit. One of some of the most viewed series and stuff it's fucking drama series. People love drama. They love it. They can't stop not loving it. And if you like, this is probably the biggest life hack you can ever get. If you want to make a shit ton of money and you don't care about how people look at you, get into drama. Either make drama yourself, become the drama, or talk about the drama. Because people love to see a fucking train wreck. They love to see someone being batshit crazy angry over something. Or some other people attacking some other people's way of life or belief system or stuff like that. Like, Drama Alert is one of the most viewed channels for a reason. TMC and all Sun and all these fucking news magazines are some of the most viewed fucking things on Earth for a reason. People love drama. They just do. It's entertaining. That's all it is. And it's so easy to trigger Linux people. Again, this is a loud minority we're talking about. This is not, again, I will explain all of this in my video tomorrow. But they are so, like, I'm making videos for another channel. I've spent like a month doing it right now because I can't work on it all the time. So I work on it every second week or something like that. And the first video series is doing rudimentally Python coding on for Apple. It could might as well just be Linux or Windows. I just picked up my MacBook Air and I was like, oh, maybe I should make this program and I'll make a video series out of it. It takes so much more effort to do that than making the video I did last week or the week before that, where I just sit in front of a webcam and just spewing what everyone else is thinking, basically. I'm saying what most people are thinking. I'm just doing it in an oversaturated, atanistic way because it triggers Linux people. But I'm saying what most people are thinking. Most of the things that I'm saying, like, look at the whole, look at this. How do you spell Austin Evans? Yeah. Doopy-doopy-doop. So, a lot of the things I said about the framework computer, he is saying the same fucking shit in this video. And then if you go and watch some other videos from other content creators talking about the framework laptop, they are saying some of the things I am also saying in my videos about the framework laptop. How many Linux users are in here being angry? Yeah, well, price comparison, but there's one here. This again. A lot of the things I'm saying in my videos, like I said, is what everyone else, or not everyone, but is what a lot of other people are thinking or are saying I'm just making it more entertaining or more agonizing or more in your face, because then people will actually fucking listen. If I'm like, hey dude, you do know that your dog is fucking irritating, it's peeing on my lawn, it's fucking irritating. Nobody, he's like, yeah, whatever. But if I'm running up to saying, you fucking stupid ass dog is peeing all over the fucking my lawn all the fucking time, dragging its balls from one end to another, pooping, peeing, and being a fucking nuisance. If you don't stop doing that fucking shit, I'm running it over with my lawnmower. Now I have your fucking attention. Versus just like, hey, you do know your dog is peeing on my lawn, can you please make it stop? Which one are you going to listen to the most? Basic fucking human psychology. You're going to react to the animated part of that. I'm saying the same shit. It's the exact same thing I'm saying. I'm tired of your dog peeing on my lawn. One of them is just in a more like low, toned down, low key way. The other one is like in your fucking face. Like you have to react to it. Oh yeah, the framework is a weird thing, man. It makes no sense in the world. It honestly, because LCT, yeah, exactly, yeah. What the fuck was I on about? Oh yeah, they've how can I need to think a little bit on how to word this correctly. The idea, okay, the idea and the premise and what it represents is amazing. So repairability, upgradability in a laptop, it sounds like an amazing idea. It's an amazing thing. It goes with the right to repair. It goes with all the things that we say we want. But we're not putting that money, like we're saying we want it, but we really don't want it. Because this is a debate I had with someone at work, is that like, oh, thanks for subscribing. Oh shit, we killed Laura. Rip Laura. So the more physical connections you have, let's just say on a motherboard, the more tooling you need to make. You need to make a tool that makes the connection. You have like, let's say you directly solder your die on the laptop motherboard. That's one connection with one soldering point. If you want a replaceable piece of PCB, now you have, not only do you have to make that PCB, that small PCB, you then have to solder the chips on that PCB. That's one soldering aspect. Then you have, the connection between the SSD or NVMe into a connector, or basically a coupling, or what you will call it. That needs to be made. That needs to be soldered onto the motherboard, which is another soldering. There's just more points of failure. And that's what a lot of people tend to forget. There are more things that can go wrong the more upgradable we make something. And we also have to think about, people has been used to not upgrading the internals of their laptops for decades. Most people, even back in the 90s, didn't upgrade their RAM or their CPU. Most did not do that, because most people look at a laptop as they look at a phone. But that's why we are so okay with buying a phone and throwing it out when it can't do its job anymore. Laptop screens can be replaced also, but again, most people don't do that. Because most people buy a laptop, they use it for as long as they can, and then they either give it to someone else, sell it to someone else that then can use it, and buying a new one. If I upgrade the screen on my laptop, there is a lower chance that screen is going to be used again, so it's basically being thrown out, more or less. If I upgrade, the hard drive and the RAM is a little bit easier to sell or get someone else to use, but if I upgrade the keyboard, I have a keyboard laying around nobody's going to use because I can't just sell a keyboard. If I'm upgrading the connections, how many people want that connection? Not many people. It's just easier to sell a full-blown laptop, even an under-spec, an old laptop, than the CPU for a laptop, or than the screen for a laptop. Because you probably upgrade that screen because it's an older version. So why the fuck do most people want to buy a lower version of a screen when they can just buy a new screen? You know? Save like, you know... They're like, why should I save like $10 on an old screen when I could just spend $10-15 on a new screen? That's better. The reason why a lot of people are okay with lower resolution screens and lower performance hardware in laptops is because they're not only getting a 8 gig laptop, they're not only getting a let's say 1080p screen, they're getting a whole workable computer. So when you're upgrading the individual components, you could end up contributing to e-waste even more. Because you have more and more components people don't want. Like I said, it's harder to sell a laptop screen because then you have to take your own old out, you have to put the old new one in, there is like repair costs put into it and blah 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 blah. Or you have to set time aside to do that on your own. Again, why it's easy to just buy a new laptop. If everything goes right, which is most of the time, when I'm buying a new old laptop, like a used laptop, it's more or less working when I'm getting it. I don't have to fucking put it together. I don't have to, you know, I don't have to buy another screen for it and stuff like that. That's why people buy old, like it's easy to sell an old laptop than an old screen. You know, it's easier to say. It's always been easier in every business venture, in any commodity area like cars, whatever the fuck it is. It's always been easier. Maybe not cars, but like consumer electronics and consumer products. It's always been easier to just buy a new thing than fixing the old one. Because if my laptop breaks, or I can't do the job anymore, I can buy a new one tomorrow and be up and running. If I send it to repair, I may have to wait 3, 4, 5 days, weeks before the laptop is working again. You know. Yeah, exactly. People will sell their old stuff, to then put, you know, that money into new stuff so they don't have to pay full price for it. That's also what a lot of people do. That also become harder if you're doing upgrades. Because, okay, I want a new CPU, I want a new, you know, screen. It's super hard to just sell a CPU and a screen to someone because you need to find that specific person that has a framework laptop that needs your screen and CPU. So you more or less are not going to sell that fucking component. So it's either going to be put in a drawer somewhere, or it's going to be thrown out. If everyone used upgradable laptops, like we did back in the day, the framework laptop makes sense. The fact is that most people nowadays don't have upgradable laptops. Or limited upgradable laptops. So the market that you now will have for your used components are super low. And there is a reason why we are where we are today with solder on shit and stuff like that. Not only is it faster, it's also more reliable. It costs less money to produce. You can get slimmer, lighter laptops. If you want upgradability, and I am all for upgradability, I love upgradability, but you have to know what comes with it. Bigger, heavier, more error-prone or component failure-prone laptops. I love Louis Rossmann and his work, and he's like, oh, look, this is wrong here and there. But I will guess, I don't know this for a fact, but I would love to figure it out, that there are less problems with laptops today with solder-on shit than there was with laptop back in the days. Because there are less things that can go wrong. The issue nowadays is that when a laptop fails, you kind of have to buy a new one, where back in the day, you just, you bought a new whatever broke. I get that. I totally get, I understand, I'm totally with you on that one. But I honestly believe that components and laptops are breaking down less and less. They last longer and longer without fixes. At least that's what I have experienced in my lifetime. And it's again, if everyone on Earth, or the majority of people on Earth, were using upgradable laptops, the framework would make a lot of sense. But this is again like the Linux kind of mentality a little bit here, where instead of looking at the world we live in today, we are trying to pretend and work or think in a way we want the world to work. No, this is Vivaldi. So we are like, okay, if we just make things for the world we want to work in, the world's going to modify itself to what we like. That can happen. Like, you can change the landscape of the world if you have a lot of influence on the world. So let's say the reason why we have smartphones today is because a massive, big, multi-billion-dollar company made an iPhone. Had I made an iPhone, we would probably still have been using dumb phones today. Why do we have taskbars and all that fucking shit and GUI windows as a standard? Well, a lot of companies did it before Apple and Microsoft. But you needed someone with influence in the industry to do it before it caught on. They can kind of, unquote, force new technology on people. They have the money to put it into people's hands more easily than you and I would have. So, let's say Lenovo, Dell, had made the framework laptop. That will have a bigger impact than it is right now. Because most people don't, like, I don't even think, try to go to your work and ask how many people know about the framework laptop. Probably not a lot of people. And that's the problem. We just talked about the framework laptop and how I get yelled at for basically saying what or regurgitating what a lot of other not Linux, but a lot of tech YouTubers are saying about it. But the Linux community just love to yell at me for some reason. I will not call it a scam, but it is misleading as fuck. But yeah, it's like you can change the world if you are a massive, influenceable person/company. Tuxedo, that's that Linux laptop. Yeah, it's not going to change the world either. What is going to change Linux as a desktop OS? Like the thing that are the thing that are going to make Linux matter on the desktop is the day, if that comes, where Dell or HP or Apple or Windows say, we are moving 100% to Linux. We are not selling any Windows-based shit anymore. One of those big, massive, multi-billion-dollar companies has to do it because they have the market influence to do so. But they have to do it if you want it done in like the near future. And we have to remember, the desktop is dying. The desktop is dying. But we are talking, the whole fucking Linux, the year of the Linux desktop, probably have about a decade left in it. And then it's dead. The Windows desktop is dead. The Mac desktop is dead. In about maybe 20 years, maybe 2 decades, if we are really lucky. I am old enough. I have seen the uptick, the explosion of personal computers, and the slow death of it. The System 76 is... How many people knows about it? That's the easiest way I can explain it. Almost nobody knows about it. And they are a really specific company that sells hardware to specific people. They are not Apple. They are not Microsoft. They are not Dell. They have a niche target, I was about to say audience, but user group or customer base. But yeah, like I remember a time where everyone I knew had either a laptop or a computer in their house. Everyone. It's like the same thing that happened with the landline phones is happening with the personal computer. Like the big ass desktop that we have. And also the laptop. The laptop is the last one to go. Like, at one time, it would be really select few people that didn't have a landline in their house. Like, almost everywhere you went, you will see people having a landline. Oh, tablets are not dead. Oh, no. No. Tablets are exploding. Tablets and phones are exploding. But yeah, like everyone had a phone in their house with a landline. Everyone had cable TV. Everyone had a personal computer, a big base or a black box on their table somewhere, on the floor somewhere. Most households nowadays don't have cable TV. They don't have landlines. And they definitely don't have a big base, a black or LED written box somewhere. Unless they have like a YouTuber kit or a live streamer kit. If they don't have one of the, a streamer or a super tech enthusiast in their family, which is super rare, they would not have a big massive box calling a computer in their house. At most, they will have a laptop. But most of them will just be using either their phone or their tablets. So again, the desktop is dying. It has been dying for about 10 years now. The x86 architecture is at its last legs. That's why we are going over to hybrid design, what Intel and AMD is starting to do with their chip design, or full-blown RISC ARM. Because that's what's running on, on your mobile set, on your tablet. Your tablet is like if you're using an Apple tablet and you're using like the newer versions, you're having a MacBook Air, you have a Mac Mini in your hand. It's the same components. They just don't have the same amount of connections to it. But the chips design, the SoC is the exact same fucking shit. PC gaming is dying. PC gaming is like, I think, tablets, mobile gaming and console gaming have beaten out PC gaming many, many years ago. Many years ago. Most people that game on a PC, again, are either YouTubers, tech enthusiasts, or some form of content creator. So streamer, YouTuber, whatever you'll call it. Why do you think Valve made the Steam Deck? Why do you think they did that? Because handheld gaming is the thing to do. Like, if you are 10 to 30 years old... No, not too... Nope. Most people... I have friends that have the Steam Deck. They don't even know that it can be used as a laptop. Most people don't... Even Valve don't market it as a fucking laptop. Valve did the Steam Deck because handheld gaming is what the kids are doing today. If you are like between 10 and 20 years old, when you become our age... all you're going to talk about your favorite games on either tablet, phone, or handheld device. So Steam Deck, Switch, whatever the fuck they're called. Maybe also your consoles. I even think handheld gaming has taken over console gaming. Like, there are more people using like phones and tablets and switches and stuff like that combined than tablets, and than consoles. It's AAA gaming are focusing a lot on handheld gaming. It's all in the numbers. It's all on your favorite Statistia site if you want to go and look for it. It's all. I have it in my video about that people are misleading you about Dennis market share or something like that. Like, I can foresee a future where Apple and Windows just give up. They just don't want to focus on desktops and laptops anymore. Like traditional desktops and traditional laptops, like we know them today. They just like, you know what? 90% of fucking humanity are either using tablets, phones, or consoles, or handheld devices. This whole fucking build your own shit, forget about that shit. Laptops, who gives a fuck? Put a fucking keyboard on your tablet and you have a laptop. If that happens, and it probably could happen, that would be the year of the Linux desktop. But that would be like Linux being the premier desktop OS for like 2 or 3 years before that dies out. So for Linux to win the desktop war, Apple and Microsoft has to give up. You know, like they have to give up. They have to say we don't want to develop Windows or Mac OS anymore. We don't give a fuck. And then Linux will take over for a few years before they realize that nobody's using fucking desktops anymore. It would be like Chromebooks and stuff like that. So yeah, Linux could probably have a future on a Chromebook or something like that. Like your next Linux distribution wars would be what distro are you using on your tablet / Chromebook? That would be the wars of the OSs. What are you using on your tablet, your phone, your Chromebook, or well, your ultra? What would you call a Chromebook? Like ultra lightweight computer, always online computer. What is the term for Chromebooks other than Chromebooks? Or ultra tablets, or ultra laptops, or something like that. They have a specific term. And those will even go away in favor of tablets and phones. Like, there are people right now fucking gaming on their tablet. Mini laptops, netbooks, yeah, probably netbooks, yeah, I don't know. Like, there are people right now playing, you know, Stardew Valley and stuff like that with a controller on their tablets. You have Samsung DeX and iPad OS that way just plug a fucking screen to it. It's basically a computer. Is the software there yet? Not yet. There's a lot of... Yeah. I think it's called ultra lightweight notebooks. I think that's the term for it, yeah. Of course, the software is not ready yet, but like... You can do everything you can do on a computer, you can do on a tablet nowadays. You just can't do it as good as you can on a computer. That's the only difference. But that's not hardware limitation, that's software limitation. The software takes some years to mature, to get the features right. You don't build, you know... You don't build like an editing suite like in a week, you know. Yeah, Chromebooks are a weird thing. I'm actually thinking about buying one to make like a video about it. Because I wanted to make like hardware reviews and stuff like that, but that's going to be on my other channel that I'm making. And it may be like a month or 2 months before. It may be next year that I release that channel. I don't know, because right now I'm just making content for it. I haven't edited anything. One video for it. But I'm going to separate this trolling channel, if you want to call it, with like a proper tech channel. But yeah, like people are living in a delusional world when it comes to desktops. And again, that's because a lot of their identity is tied into that. It's tied into that. But There are people that have tried it, and some succeeded, some have not. There's a... What the fuck is his name? There's a guy that lives like 99% on tablets. Like he has like a laptop for really specific few things, and then a NAS, and then everything else is done on a tablet. Why can't I think I'm subscribed to him. Why can't I? It's probably because I'm not logged in here, but... No, it's not 9 to 5 max. And here's the thing. The death of the laptop and the death of the traditional computer is not like let time, time will tell. This is happening right now. Like it's happening right now. Like I think this is the... The fuck is it? Oh, this is the one. Stat counter. That's the one I was looking for. Mobile, desktop, tablet. Mobile, desktop. Desktop versus mobile versus tablet market share. So tablet is the lowest one. But what is the trend here? Yeah, go do your things, man. This is not lying. And I think you can... edit chart data. So we can also do iOS version, Mac, Windows, operating system. Or we can do operating system, desktop, mobile, tablet, console. Let's do operating system. Let's go from all the way back. How long can you go? View chart. So this is Windows. This is Mac OS. This is Linux. This little fucking thing here is Linux. 2017-ish is where Android just is taking off. And iOS is going up steadily. Linux has never fucking increased. Linux has never really increased. So if you look here, this is where the world moved away from big beige LED-written black boxes over to handheld devices. Here. Then they have a little bit of scaffolding exchange here and there. But if you look here, like Linux has never really gotten anywhere. Like of the total like operating system market, Linux is under 2%. Linux is so let's unpack Linux is becoming more popular, okay? Is Linux becoming more popular? Yes. Compared to Windows and Mac OS. Is Linux becoming more popular as the main operating system that people use? No. Because that involves tablets, and stuff like that. And we have to remember, Android is not Linux. If Android is Linux, FreeBSD is the second most operating system on Earth. Because if Android is Linux, Mac OS is FreeBSD. Repeat after me, people. In unity. If Android is Linux, FreeBSD and Mac is Mac OS. Because what Android and Google are doing with Android is the exact same bullshit Apple is doing with FreeBSD. The same shit. There's probably more FreeBSD code in Mac OS than there are Linux code in the finished Android product when you have it in your hand. So Android is that's why Android is not under Linux. Worldwide, who gives a fuck if FreeBSD is the most popular operating system in a town in the middle of the desert in Africa? That means nothing. If you want to see what's happening in the world, you have to look at world statistics. And you then can't be like, oh, well, in that little fucking, 2-guy village out there, BOS is the most used operating system. That means nothing. That's, yeah. Congratulations. There are probably countries where Windows is still the most used operating system. Then there's countries where Mac OS is the most used operating system. There's probably countries where FreeBSD is the most used operating system. I don't know, but there is a theoretically that could happen. But this is telling us, this is definitely telling us that Google is the new Microsoft. Because Android is owned by Google. And Google is way worse than Microsoft when it comes to your personal data and data collection and stuff like that. Because we have to remember, Microsoft looked at Google and saw, oh shit, these people are making a shit ton of money. Oh, we should do what Google are doing. Microsoft is trying to make Windows into basically Android with data collection and stuff like that. You think that those 1.6% are all Indians? That don't matter. The only thing that matters is this. There's no Temple OS. Yeah, sorry. It's probably under unknown. Like, I don't know why this is so difficult for people. Probably because they don't want to acknowledge this fact. But this is data. This is data. This is the most accurate representation we can get. The most accurate. It is not 100%. Nothing is 100% accurate. But it's the most accurate. Because this data is not biased towards anything. So, the only thing you as a normal human should believe in, how the world looks like today, is this what this graph is telling you. That Android is the most used OS on Earth. And it's not Linux, because they will be put under Linux, of course. Windows is the second most used operating system on Earth. iOS is the third, Mac OS the fourth. Unknown is everything from BOS, Haiku, SkyOS, QNX, operating systems we have not heard of, Palm OS, your OS in your car, that's under unknown. And then we have Linux. We have little old Linux. If we are comparing operating systems, we have to compare all operating systems. We can't just cherry pick and do this. and say, oh, Linux is going up. Microsoft is failing. Apple is failing. The global statistics is more valid than... Yeah, but I'm using the global one. I'm using the worldwide statistics. So if you look at it like this, yes, Linux is going up. What is it at right now? Well, you probably need to make a chart with that. But yeah, Linux is going up. What was it as? It's been like this before, and then it went down, and then it went up again. Linux is going up. But this don't tell you what's actually going, because if you look at it like this massive downfall, something has to have, if there is a massive downfall in the market, there will be a massive uptick in the market. So if you look at it like this, when something do like this here, like have this massive downfall, either macOS should then, on the other end, have a massive uptick, or Linux should have a massive uptick. But there is no... Like, what is Windows being replaced with? It's not being replaced with macOS or Linux. It's being replaced with iOS. You see here? Windows going down, iOS going up. Windows going down, Android is going up. This is from 2009 to 2024. This is telling you. Again, if you want the most accurate prediction, you look at the most gathered data. So that's the longest time you can gather data that you have available to you. And you're looking at what is happening over all of that time. Because there will probably be months. There will probably be months where Linux have a massive uptick and Windows have a massive downtick. There will probably be months where that happens. So that's why you zoom out. And you look at what is the overall view that's going on. Then if you want to know what the fuck happened here, what happened in 2018, then you can dive into 2018 and see what happened there. What happened there? What went on? And see, others have an uptick here and went down. But others and unknown is like anything you can think about. It's not just. I see some Linux YouTubes like unknown and others. They are all Linux. They justify somehow that unknown and others are Linux on 90% Linux. No, they are not. There are other operating. There are operating systems. There are Unix's operating systems we don't even fucking know about. Yeah, it's the same data. This is the same data that you get if you edit the, No, this is the same data. It's exactly this. It's just percent. The more you zoom in, the more little unique nuances you see. So if you zoom into 1 month, you will see, fluctuations day by day. But it means the same as this one here. Because this is the total. Nobody cares about if 1 week you make $10, the next week you make $5. It's what you make in a month that matters. When you get your paycheck. There are days, like, let's say you're a YouTuber. There are some days you make more than other days. But the only thing that matters is how much do you earn when the paycheck is actually being paid. When you actually are getting paid. This here, from 2009 to 2024, is when you get paid. This is what matters. Like, this is what the market is doing, basically. If you zoom out, the 23 to 23 data will be the same as this one. You mean if you start with 2023, 2024, and then zoom out? Yeah, it would be this one here, yeah. The same, if I zoom in and I take away Android, iOS, and... yeah, so if I keep Windows, so if I take these away, and I make a new chart, it will then show that, oh yeah, Linux has gotten up 5%, up to almost 5%, because now we're not comparing it with iOS and Android. But iOS, Android, and others and unknown, they are all operating systems. You cannot, and this is a fallacy that a lot of Linux users do to basically circle jerk each other out, is that data is easy to manipulate if people don't know what they are looking at. And most people don't. Because they just like, oh, this is going up and this is going down. I like this is going up, therefore something good must be happening. But in reality, no, it's really not. What this... So let me put it in another way. What this graph is telling us is that desktops, laptops are dying. That's what this is telling us. Desktops and laptops are dying. They are dying a slow death. Handhelds, consoles are going up. So tablets, mobiles, and handhelds are going up. That is what this graph is telling us. Let's just forget about operating system. Let's just like... We don't give a fuck what operating system is and who's winning and whatever. However, what kind of devices is getting more and more popular? What is the thing that more and more people are using more of? Exactly, phones and tablets. What do they run on? Android and iOS, depending on what company you're going with or what companies you're going with. So what this is telling us right now is that phones and tablets are beating out computers. Soon macOS will be iOS is beating out Windows. If you're going to be really, mostly of course more people are using phones than laptops. Of course they are. That's a given. Of course they are. If you're going to be really skeptical here, this is macOS. They had a big dip here. I don't know what happened here, like in 2023. The same with Windows had a big dip here. But if you look at it, macOS has been massively stable. Massively stable. Where Windows has basically like falling off of cliffs. Like, if this was a stock and you invested in 2009 in Windows, you have lost a lot of fuck. You lost over 60%, basically. But if you invested in Apple, in macOS, you actually gained money. No, Vista was like, when was Vista? That was about here. No. The reason why this is happening, that iOS and Android is going up, is because why would you want a big, massive computer or laptop if you can do all of those things on your phone? Most people are not developers. Most people are not, CEOs. Most people just want to consume. More users on what? On Linux? Oh, in total, that don't matter. That don't matter at all how many days in total. This is out of all of the people using something in 2009 versus all the people using something in 2024. That's not how craft works. This is the totality. There is no way that you can make this not be the truth. No way. There's more Windows users, there are more Mac users, there are more Android users, there are more iOS users, there are more Linux users. So let's say this is 1 million users. This is 20 million users. What this shows us is how popular was Windows. How many of all OS users was using Windows in 2029? About 94%. That's why it's a percent and not like a user. It don't say 2 billion or 3 billion users. It says of all of the users existing using an operating system in 2009, 94.8% were using Windows. That's why we're using percentages and not hard numbers here. Of all of the users that are using an operating system in September 2024, 45.16% are using Android. So you by doing it this way, you take into account that more and more people are using X, Y, and Z. Because we're looking at how many percentage of a group is doing it. If 50% likes apples over bananas in 2009, and 50% likes apples over bananas in 2024, it's still 50%. It still account for that there are more people in 2024 than there are people in 2009. Because of all of the people that exist, that do that thing, that likes bananas and apples, we are asking who likes them the most. Which one do you like the most? So that's how you can see if something goes up and down. How much percentage of something is being used over something else means that depending on how, the totality of all the users or all of the people, how many of those people are doing a thing. That is how elections works. How many people, how big of a percentage are voting for this person? That's how a lot of elections works. Again, you cannot make this lie. Readers is probably under unknown or others, You cannot make this lie. There's no way you can make this, like, the mental gymnastics you have to make this into a win for Linux would be flat Earth territory. It would be moon landing hoax territory. It would be like I am a lizard people from the planet Suno coming in here to impregnate all the hot Hollywood women territory. Like, you can, no matter how you turn this around, you look at it, you dissect it, whatever the fuck you're doing with it. Computers are dying, handhelds are going up, tablets and mobile phones are going up. That is what this is telling us. Windows is dying, Mac OS is keeping its cool, Linux is keeping its cool, Linux being really, really low market share, but it's still keeping its cool. iOS is going up, not so much as Android, but Android is also going up. Like, this is what this chart is telling us. How many people are using Android on their fucking home computer? No one. Or almost no one. Yeah, exactly. Google owns the consumer market, exactly. What is Android used on the most? Handheld devices, so tablets and phones. That's what we are looking at here. Android is not used in IoT devices. That would be like the Linux kernel. Or it would be like an Android kernel or something. So that would be like, you get what I'm coming at here. Well, Apple Apple makes more money on mobile than Google does or Android does. Smart TVs, yeah, of course. Smart TVs is another one, yeah. Oh yeah, Android is killing it. It's killing it. Of course it's killing it. But it's also a worse operating system than Windows or Mac OS. So, yeah. Congratulations! We took out Apple and Microsoft that kinda spied on us through using Android, that are fisting us and stealing our kidneys, and even if you disable fucking GPS, it's still phoning home, and blah 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 blah. Did you know that by law, your phone's GPS can be turned on by the government? This is by law. Because if there's an emergency, they need to be able to put so they can rescue you or something. Like the second you call the emergency services, they have access. They can see where the fuck you are. They know exactly where you are. Your phone is giving them all that fucking information, no matter what settings you turned off. It's that creepy. Like, it's that super creepy, people. Like, for all of the shit Linux people are giving Microsoft, I don't think they grasp. The same with Apple. I don't think that they grasp how little Apple and Microsoft is actually doing compared to Google. Again, Microsoft and Apple are trying to mimic Google. You don't try to mimic someone that you're doing better than. You know. Like you're not trying to mimic someone that you're out competing. You're not trying to mimic someone's data gathering technologies if you are better than they are. Apple and Microsoft are trying to be better than Google at getting your shit. They would not do that if they already were better. Then Google would try to mimic Apple and Microsoft. You know, like, I love to see those Linux YouTubers sit there and talk about privacy and all that shit, being on YouTube with their Android phones, and Android is Linux, is super secure, don't take your data and all that fun. Like, oh, my brain hurts. My brain hurts. Like, oh, no, don't do that to me, not today. Like, honestly, Apple is probably the best company right now when it comes to your data and your privacy. Yeah, and they are not even a good company, but they are probably the best. They are probably the ones that are doing the best. Have your best. The company that has most of your best interest at heart. And that's because they want you to use their fucking product so they can use your data exclusively. That's the only the only reason why Apple protects your data from other people is because they want it for themselves. It's that simple. They don't want to sell it. They don't want to give it away. They don't want to share it. They want to be the middleman between your data and everyone else. So they're the only one having the data, and if someone else wants access to that data, they're coming to you or to them. But at this moment, for the last probably 10 years, if you really care about your privacy and your data, you should probably use Apple products. Because they want to be the only ones that have access to your data. They don't want everyone else to do it. Oh, like so in Android's documentation, they even specify and say that when the when the Android kernel reaches, let's say, Samsung, over 50% of the Android kernel is not there anymore. So whatever percentage of Linux code there is in the stock Android kernel is either less, even more or less, when it comes to Samsung, because they take shit out and do their own shit. So let's say in the stock Android kernel there may be 10% Linux code. If you take 100% of the stock standard Android kernel, and then you give it to like Huawei or whatever, at that point there may only be like 2% raw Linux code left, if even that. Here's the thing with Apple. I need to get something to drink, so just give me like 10 seconds, okay? Oh yeah, I got a soda. So here's the thing with Apple. It's hard to type when you have a big microphone in front of your keyboard. So, but Apple. You know, the thing with Apple. Is Apple a good company? No. Nope. Should you trust Apple? No. Is Apple your friend? No. Is Apple a greedy, proprietary, no good company? Yeah. What do Apple give you that Linux don't give you? What do Apple give you that Microsoft with Windows don't give you? They give you the future. That's one thing that I like. I have a. It's funny, but my desktop computer I bought, like I built myself. Sorry. Render videos with my new Nvidia card and all that shit over 50% faster than my Mac Mini. 50% faster than my Mac Mini. I can game. I use Parsec to remote game on my computer, even though it's right beside me. It's just more convenient, and the quality is good enough because we're in the same network close and all that. I should make a video about Parsec. Why am I using my Apple? Why did I buy? I have like a 8-core Dell computer that's from 2018 or 19 that run Linux Mint right now. Perfectly fine development computer. Why did I buy a MacBook Air M1? Why did I buy an Apple Watch? Why did I buy an Apple iPhone? Because all of this, you know, all of those futuristic things, you know, like, oh, we can do this and that and blah, blah. You know, all of these, like, things that we thought we will have, that we don't have, Apple is kind of giving us. If I have my Apple Watch on, I barely have to put in any passwords. I just tap my Apple Watch and it unlocks everything. Parsec is it's like TeamViewer. It's just really, really way better than that. Like it's mostly built for games and stuff like that. But gaming companies use it, and Blizzard use it. It's a super good tool for remoting, and it works on any platform. And the free version is great. But yeah, like when you're using Apple products, you feel like let me put it this way: my Mac Mini my MacBook Air, my watch, my iPhone. They all talk to each other. They are all connected. They are basically one unit. They are one unit. Like they are my computing life. Of course, it's different on my MacBook Air than my Mac Mini. Of course, I'm not gaming on my watch. You know, I use my phone for different things than I use my watch for. But they are all part of my computing experience. They are part of my computing experience. If I use Windows, Android, Linux, whatever, I have an Android tablet I use quite a lot. It's like using two containerized. TMS is like the phone protocol. They are like, they might as well not even be on the same network. Like if I'm being really, really fucking, you know, like critical about it, you know, I can do all of that from any of my Mac devices. You know, like my Windows machine, even here's the thing. The only reason why I have like shared what is it called, clipboards and shared bookmarks and stuff like that, is because of the browser, and it only works in the browser. You know, the browser make it kind of feel like my Windows desktop is talking with my Windows laptop, that they are actually, you know, unifying somewhat my computing experience. But besides that, not really. Steam, I can pick a game up on either device. That kind of helps a little bit. But it still feels like it did back in the day. You know, it still feels like my desktop is its own thing. My development Linux computer is its own thing. My Android tablet is its own thing. They can talk a little bit with each other, and I have a NAS. I just bought us a Synology NAS to have some localized storage and backup and stuff like that. But they still feel like they are a separate thing, if that makes sense. But my MacBook Air, my Mac Mini, my watch, my iPhone, they feel like they are the same thing of working as a unity, just giving me different tasks or different experiences. But that's also a little bit the problem with Apple, is that I talked with my boss about this, because he's a hardcore Android fan. He really loves or hate Apple a lot, because he's like, you buy one Apple product and then you buy another one, you buy another one, you buy another one, because the more you get into the Apple ecosystem, as they want to call it, the better it becomes. And he's right. The more you invest into the Apple quote-unquote ecosystem, the better it becomes. The more you feel like you're living in the future. I had like you have to tell me about how that Slimbook is working out, by the way. I tried fitness watches. I tried like ultra durable watch. I really want like a Sun Tzu Racer at some point, because I hate the battery life on Apple's watches. But I tried so many different smartwatches, fitness watches, and stuff like that. Google Pay is not, Google Pay, Apple Pay are already taking over. They already have taken. I see more and more. I see more people paying with their phone and their credit card now. At least in my country, in my area. But anyway, I tried so many different smartwatches or fitness watches and whatever it is. Like I spent like a year and a half buying a lot of fucking watches. Probably wasted a lot of money. And then I bought like what is it called? What is it? SE? Is that what it's called? What is the watch called? Yeah, SE. I bought the 40... What is it? Yeah, band gaps use NFC, yeah. I bought this one, the 44mm SE. Actually, I got it. I can actually show you which one I got. I got this one. I don't get silver. I got textile. I got sports loop. Come on. Oh, I got the... Did I get that one? No, I think I got this one here. No trade-in. Yeah, that's the one I got. Oh, it's not showing me the... Oh, the site really don't work. Anyway. I got this watch. And... There are two reasons why I use this watch over all the other watches I have. This is the watch I have. There are two reasons why I got this watch, or why I'm using this over. I have like 3 or 4 different smartwatches and fitness. I have 2 fitness watches and 2 Android watches, and then this one here. There are 2 reasons why I'm using this here. One of it is that it automatically picks up a workout when I'm out walking. Some of my other watches do that also, but this one is the best one that's doing it. And the Android watch is doing it quite a well also. But that's not the real reason why I'm using it. I don't have to use a password to unlock my phone. I don't use a password to unlock my MacBook Air. I don't need to use a password to unlock my MacBook, my Mac Mini. Like I think it's once a day or a few times a week it asks me to use my password. But most of the times, just the fact that I have it on my wrist and I'm near my computer and I open up the screen or I take my phone up, if it don't get my Face ID, or if I click enter on my keyboard, it automatically opens up the device that I'm using. The other thing is that if I'm doing anything with passwords and I'm using Apple KeyPass or what the fuck it's called, if it requires me to put in my password, my watch will like vibrate like a good little fucking butt plug, and I just tap the side button 2 times and it puts in the passwords for me. Those are the reasons why I'm using it. Like, who would have imagined that life could be that easy? Who would have thought that life would be that easy? Oh, Face ID is, at least on I have like a 14 Pro. It just, like, it's creepy how good that works. Like, it's super, like, I can use it in the middle of the fucking night. That's how creepy it is. I don't know on other phones, but the 14 Pro and up, it's... I've never had an issue with it. And now that I have my watch on me, I have to charge it every second day. I hate that. My fitness watches last a week. But every Apple products makes your life better. They make your life more convenient. They make you live your life in a, let's call it an easier way, if you want to call it that. Windows is kinda there, but like only 60%. Linux, fuck that shit. Like, you got to forget about that. This is another thing I keep telling people. Apple makes you feel like you're living in the future. Windows is like the current thing because most people are used to Windows. Linux makes you feel like you're living 10, 15 years behind everyone else. That's how I look at it. Windows is like the status quo. This is like what we have to live with. This is the standard. If you really go into the Apple ecosystem and you get as much as you can afford, the more the better. you start to feel like you're living in the fucking future. How all the apps are talking with each other and all of that shit. Is that because Daddy Apple is fucking fondling our testicles all day and taking our temperature up our anus all day and analyzing our data and looking at our creepy fucking dick pics all day? Of course it is. But it still makes you feel like you're living in the future that you thought you would be living in 10 years ago. And if you go back to Linux, as good as Linux is, it still makes you feel like you're running 10 years behind. 15 years behind sometimes. Sometimes, like, there are issues that I have with Linux I had in the 90s. You know. Well, Wilson, the A series and the M series are basically the same. The M series is just like the evolution of the A series. And soon the A series are going out of... they will be phased out for the M series, basically. So, and that's another brilliant thing that, people don't give Apple enough credit. I don't like Apple as a company. They are too woke. They are too fucking virtual signaling. I don't like Apple as a company. But what they are doing is fucking brilliant. You have one chip. One fucking chip that you put into all your devices. You want it on your watch, you scale it down. You want it on your phone, you can scale it up. You want it in a laptop or desktop, you scale it even more up. With either more connections, more RAM, more cores, etc, etc, etc. It's super brilliant. Super brilliant. And also, that means that if you're a developer, you develop for one platform. The instructions are more or less the same. The only difference is what UI you're presenting the user with. Like, it's so simple. You know. Oh yeah, the pixels in my boss order a pixel and it's in back order and he's angry about that. Yeah, he should have had it like a week or two ago. But yeah, it's like I remember me being a kid in the 90s, okay, and I was sitting there and I was like, oh my god, my Windows computer is so slow. Even my Linux machine is slow. Wouldn't it be nice that one day we have more efficient coding, so it will take less code to do the same job? On top of that, processors will be so optimized for the coding that they are super fast. Today we have less efficient code than we had back in the day. Like, it takes more power to do a lot of things. And the only reason why our computers are fast today, like why our programs run faster today, is because we have faster hardware. It's not because Office or Windows got more streamlined. Because then we would be able to run that on the old computers from the 90s. It's just that our hardware is so powerful that it can deal with the choppiness of the software that we're using today. What Apple is doing exactly what I was like thinking about back in the 90s. They are optimizing the software and the hardware together. And frameworks is just all over the fucking place. A lot of modern programming languages would not work in the 80s or 90s because they'd taken too much resources to just fucking run. Like, Java was a good example, and Python back in the early days everyone hated it because the Java virtual machine, or what it's called, and interpreter in Python, they were taking too many resources for the code to fucking run. It was slow and choppy and buggy and all that fucking shit. Nowadays we want Java on fucking watches. You know, we want Python on watches. You know. But that's not because they got more... Well, they got a little bit more optimized, of course, but most of that is because of the raw horsepower of our chipsets, basically. Oh, do I like C Sharp? Oh god. Yeah, yes and no. Like, I don't mind it. Like, I don't like it. I also looked into Java, and should I choose between Java and C Sharp, I would go C Sharp all day. The only aspect about C Sharp that I don't like so much is that it's not. Oh yeah, thank you, Lamer. Is that let me put it this way. If you ask me to choose between Java and C Sharp, and I can only use one of them, I would go with Java, because Java is widely supported on any place. No matter what the fuck you want to code for, you can run Java. C Sharp is still super Microsoft centric. Like, C Sharp to me only makes sense if you're doing stuff for Windows platforms or Microsoft technologies. But if you are working for companies that are heavily invested into the whole Microsoft living and stuff like that, C Sharp is way better than fucking Java and stuff like that. And that's like, yeah. Oh, that's my view on C Sharp. C Sharp makes sense if you're a Windows company. That like, to me, that's the only place it makes sense. I will not do C Sharp, for example, on Apple, even though you can do it. I will not do C Sharp for Linux, even though you can do it. I will only use C Sharp for Windows technologies. And that's also why I'm kind of become the so we have a C Sharp guy at work, and I kind of became I'm trying to become the Python guy. Because it's good to have more than one, have a person or people that are a little bit better at one, or more than one development platform. So I do a lot of small tools and stuff like that in Python. And the C Sharp people are doing like big, heavy, things that takes a lot of resources, big, heavy programs. We do that in C Sharp. So if you need a program that, I don't know, that move one thing to another thing, or that checks something in another thing, or basically scripts with a GUI on. I do that in Python, or we do that in Python. I'm mostly the person doing it in Python. If it's like let's build like a new Office suite kind of situation, not that we are doing that, but if we were doing it, that would be in C Sharp, for example, or databasing and interacting with databasing. That could be the front end could be either web-based, Python, or C Sharp based, but you get the idea here. And I kind of like that depending on what the job needs, we are using the tool that makes more sense. Because a lot of times people want something fast. They don't care that much about how it looks. They don't care much about that it may be a little bit. And I'm not talking home users here. I'm talking corporate users here. There's a massive difference between corporate users and home users. So a lot of times they're like, I needed this, script or this program a week ago. And for those situations that you need something up and running fast, Python is like unbeatable. Unbeatable. Even for GUI applications. And then you make like a program they can use until you make the right program in either C Sharp or stuff like that. Or you use, if it's programs not being used that much, you can keep it in Python. If it's, what you will call it, like, programs that are not super resource hungry, you can keep that in Python. So, like I said, we have some programs that are kind of, I will not say big-ish, but they do a big job. But it's still a simple computing task. It's just handling a lot of data, basically. Python is good for that. But if you want like a pro, like I said, if you want like an office suite that can do billions of things and need to handle so much data, C# would probably be the way to go, at least for the company I'm at right now. Had it been a company that was running a lot of Linux machines, probably gone with C++ or something like that. Yeah, Python use a lot of C and C++ wrappers. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's what's saving Python, basically. And I'm also trying to move, see if we can move some stuff into the cloud, for example. So if like using Docker containers for some stuff, because then they can access it from anywhere, and if things goes wrong, we still have it in Azure cloud service or something like that. So let's say the building burns down or something like that. It's all either web-based or accessed via Azure. So who gives a fuck? It's all in the in Azure. I'm about to experiment a little bit with Google Lens for some stuff. Because we are using it quite a lot on our phones. And this is a fun thing. The company uses phones quite a lot to do corporate shit. Yeah, they use Google Lens quite a lot. So I'm thinking about making a app that incorporate that into their existing tools somehow for what they are doing. And then maybe also have a mobile app that talk with our own databases and Google Lens at the same time. I hope we get that database done. When it is done, we just need to clean it out and optimizing it, but yeah. I would just skip. I honestly would skip PowerShell, because unless you're going to be like a server administrator or like a IT support kind of guy for a company, PowerShell, I would not say it's useless, but you would have better job chances if you know C# than PowerShell. Like if you put C# on your resume, that would mean so much more than PowerShell. And also, PowerShell is super easy compared to C# or any other. It's a scripting language, basically. And those are super easy. Yeah, don't think about it. Don't think about Azure either. Azure is super easy to get into also. I would rather just jump directly into C# or Python or whatever programming language you want to learn. Because people would love you more if they can see that you have, 10 projects on C# than PowerShell. Well, then just say I can learn PowerShell. PowerShell is super easy to learn. It's super easy. It's super easy. Like, if you can learn Bash scripting, you can learn PowerShell scripting. It's that easy. And there are even ways for you to run Bash scripts in PowerShell. Well, PowerShell is basically just automation. Just like Bash is. You don't use Bash as a programming language. Like that's the biggest mistake anyone can do. And here's the thing. When I did like distribution reviews and I looked into the code behind the software that distributions came bundled with, a lot of the GUI tools you see on Linux is just bash scripting with a GUI on top of it. And it's so bad. So bad. Just because you can do something, don't mean you should do something. Like, a lot of the tools you see on the Linux distributions are basically just bash scripts they put a GUI on front of. And that's why they're so janky and they don't work that well and stuff like that. And I've seen it so many times. The scripting languages are fucking amazing for automation. Like, I made a script that themed XFCE, installed all the programs I needed, and set it up the way I wanted it from one script with bash. I just ran that script and it downloaded and set everything up I needed. That's a massive... I don't use XFCE anymore. I used to back in the day. I feel like XFCE has lost its way. It's stagnating too much now. It's trying to live in a... It's the same with Mate. There was a use for it in the transition area from old to new. But right now, XFCE just feels like you're running in the 90s. It just feels so outdated today. At some point, you have to fucking move on, you know? We can't be living in the past. Like, you're not 15 all, you know, your whole life. Like, that, it's like, sad, but yeah. I'm talking about XFC in general. Like they are, well, they used to be, but I don't know if there is anymore. But XFCE has its fair, a fair bit of internal issues. Yeah, but you know what? Like I said, at some point you have to move on. So putting a lesser resource-hungry system on old equipment, what you are doing is you're just pushing what you need to do maybe a few years. Yeah, you maybe get 1 or 2 extra years out of your laptop or your computer by putting XFCE or Linux on your system. But at some point, you need to move on. We can't be stuck in 8-bit land, you know, like... At some point, you have to move on. You have to move on. And that moving on is typically equals spending money. But that's how it is with technology. Technology is one of those things where you cannot be stuck in the past. And it is expensive. All you can do is that I can't save up enough money to change today. So I'm using this thing that extends my usability of my product a few years or a year so I can upgrade. Because I can upgrade in a year or in 6 months. But using Linux or XFCE or any other system to like, oh, now I can live on my old laptop forever kind of situation, no. I am not touching Cosmic with a fucking 10-foot pole. Yeah, but most people cannot live with a computer from 2013. Their needs for what they're doing today is subsiding that. But here's the thing, people expect the future on a Commodore 64. They want better security, they want faster this and that. but they they don't want to spend any money on it. Legacy is a big burden. That's why we are moving away from x86. That's why we see the NPUs, we see the like, is it Intel that are using, is it either RISC or ARM mixed in with x86? That's why Apple is doing the M series chipsets. Because there's just too many fucking problems with x86 has been, it's too old. The architecture, the platform is too old. The design is too old. So, do you want better battery life? Do you want more efficiency? We have to then... Sometimes you fucking have to kill the dog, okay? I'm sorry to say it, but when it comes to technologies, at least, at some point, you just have to kill it off. And yes, people will bitch, people will moan, and yes, it will cost money, and it will be irritating. But that's how it goes, man. Linux is good at pen testing. I do think for laptops, ARM is the future. ARM or RISC is the future. It is the future for laptops. But like we said before, desktop is dying. Desktops is dying, and when it's only laptops and tablets, then it would be like either a RISC or ARM-based Windows laptop. Windows is also okay for pen testing. FreeBSD is great for pen testing. Yeah, Windows always take a little bit of time before they get their shit together. You cannot judge Windows and ARM right as it is right now. Like, when more and more people are invested into ARM and more software is being made for ARM, Windows will put more resources into ARM. Like, it is the future. It is the next step. Well, the x86-64 has not, or what is it called? 86x6, whatever. The reason why you can still use a computer that's from 2013 today and kind of get away with basic computing tasks is because what we can do with that chip design is done, more or less. Like, we are at the absolute fucking limits of what we can do with that chip design. Because if you go back to the 90s, in 1 or 2 years, that computer you bought was useless. That was how fast, the design went back then. That computer was useless in like 3 or 4 years. Useless. Because that was how fast it grew. The only reason why you can use a 10, 15-year-old computer today is because we have kind of reached the limit of x86 design. It's not evolving as much anymore, if at all. It's just optimizing. And the way you can see that we reached the limit is like back in the day, it was either more core, slimmer design that would give us kind of, faster and better chipsets. Nowadays, like that, we fucking have CPUs that take almost 500 watts to run. Like that's graphic card territory we're talking about. Why are they putting so much watts into the CPU? It's the same with a car. At some point, you cannot tune your car. You can't make the engine bigger. You can't, drill out the cylinder more, so you put more gasoline into it. Or you put NOS into it. That's basically what we're doing now. We are running a car that is tuned to the max, and we're putting NOS into it. Like, we almost physically can't do any more with the computer design, or the chip design as we have it right now. Because too much shit is going on. Like, too much crosstalk, too much barriers that will fail. What is it, like Intel's 13 and 14 CPUs are killing themselves? Yeah, go to sleep, Wilson. Like, they're killing themselves because they're putting too much fucking shit into them to get them to just perform like people expect. You know, people want more gigahertz. They don't care how they get them, they just want more gigahertz. Because they think that will help. It's like you have the same engine design, but we want it to drive faster and faster and faster. And we're driving less and less miles per gallon. And that's why we have Windows laptops and Linux laptops with crappy battery life. Because it's an unoptimized piece of shit right now. Our computers is basically drag racers that are, and that's just to do fucking office work that they are drag racers. That's why we need RISC and ARM. And then at some point in the future, they will come to their design limits, and we need something else. Hey, Don. Oh, I need to fucking clean my apartment, man. I am... Honestly, I could not give a fuck if Linux went away as a desktop tomorrow. I actually kind of prefer if that happened. Because I am so fed up with Linux as a desktop OS. When I see those videos where those fucking toxic gaming journalists are talking, they are almost identical to those crazy ass toxic Linux users. It's almost identical what they are saying. You just have to switch a few words around or out. Take inclusivity and stuff like that with Linux and FOSS and open source. They're saying the same bullshit. And if you're challenging their viewpoint, they are calling harassment, they are calling you toxic, they want you to go away, they want you to fucking be cancelled, and blah, 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 blah. But they are saying the same fucking bullshit, man. Yeah, it is a self-serving, yeah. Like, if you do Python and you don't know about virtual environments, you're not doing Python. I'll just put it out there. Like, if you don't know how to utilize or use virtual environments, you are not... you're in the print hello world stage of Python. I could not live without virtual environments. The software I built would not work without virtual environments. I use scripts to activate and run programs in virtual environments on Windows machines, or I build packets or use like PyInstall or Py2exe to package them. Hey, thanks, man. How do we celebrate that? What happens if I click there? It says, let's celebrate. How do we do that? Oh, I can heart it. You did not know that we... Yeah, it's like... It's fundamental for Python development. Because you can... Well, you basically make your own little, you know... sandboxing place, for lack of a better word. So you can either freeze package versions really easy. You don't bug out and you don't load up your native Python install. And also it makes it portable, your project's portable. So I will do something at work, I take it at home, take the folder with me at work, and then I just initialize the environment at work and I'm up and running. It's a little bit like, when I'm thinking about it, you can kind of think about it a little bit like Docker containers, just for Python. So it become mobile, and you can keep it, upgrade. It has a lot of, like, it's its own little universe, basically. Yeah, but it becomes its own little universe, basically. And you can do whatever you can do with Python in that little universe. It's super useful. I knew about it for a long time, but I was like, I don't need it. Until I started to work on more than one project at the time. Then you really start to need it. It's a fun thing, yeah. Oh, yeah, Red Hat and Ubuntu, like Linux or GNU Linux or FOSS projects could not exist without multi-million and multi-billion-dollar companies putting a lot of money into it. Actually being the primary sponsor of those projects. Because I also have a video about that coming out at some point, like in the near future. Because the everyday desktop user won't give money to a project. The most of the what is it called? Desktop users are not going to promote it in a meaningful way, other than being toxic in comment sections. Most desktop users are not going to help with coding or translation or anything that takes a little bit of effort. The sad reality is most desktop users of Linux like FOSS and Linux for one fucking reason. They like free shit. AKA, they don't have to pay for it. They don't give a fuck about anything else. Because if they did, they would donate, they would help out in whatever capacity they could. Because FOSS projects is dependent on other people's goodwill. I look at it a little bit like proprietary software is you pay, you use. Like, you go to a car dealership, you buy the car, you use it. FOSS is you pay if you like. So you go to the car dealership, you pick a car, you use it, and then you pay for it if you like it. That's how I look at it. And some people will be like, I like this. Well, most people are like, I like this car. I'm not going to pay shit for it. And then they're just using it. But they will go back to the dealership and bitch and moan. You can get a lot of proprietary software that's free, yeah. Android is not a distro. Android is not even Linux. Like the little exercise we had in the start of the stream. If Android is Linux, macOS is FreeBSD. FreeBSD is the second most used operating system on Earth then. No, it's not even based, because based means that the majority of code is Linux. Android is a fork or a Linux-like system. Just like Linux is a Unix-like system. No, FOSS is free because all FOSS software code is available. So if I make a program with all the source code out there, and I want you to pay $10 to use the program, you are then going to take that source code, compiling it, and giving it away for free, and I don't have any project anymore. Well, that kernel is based on FreeBSD, the Xeno kernel. And funny enough, that means X is not Unix, means Mac OS 10 is not Unix. Why they got certified as being Unix, funny enough. But anyway, it's super hard to sell a FOSS project because I can just take the source code. That's what they do with like Red Hat stuff and stuff like that. You know, they just take the source code and take the branding away and give it away for free. Why would I pay for it? So that's because they are, FOSS Software is a service company. Their business model is servicing the software. And that can be with additions, add-ons, traditional service, expertise, stuff like that. That's why you don't pay for 99% of FOSS software upfront. Because I can just take the source code and give you the program for free without doing any work. Other than taking your branding out, if that's trademarked. So every time you make a new release, I just recompile it and give it away for free. So why the fuck should they pay you for it? So you have to do something that I can't do. And that's use your knowledge about the project. Like, you know, how it works. And you can sell additions to it that can be proprietary. And stuff like that. So you give away, like, look at FOSS Software as a hub. A little bit like a hub. It's the glue that connects everything else. So for Red Hat, Linux is not Red Hat's business model. They use Linux to sell solutions and products. You know. They use Linux to deliver their services. Thank you again, Luke Smith. I don't have high regards for him. He made a video that I reacted to but never uploaded. Where he said that it was, if you were a FOSS advocate, listen to this bullshit here. If you were a FOSS advocate and you worked in a proprietary company, it was your duty, if you were a FOSS advocate, to leave that company. Okay? He expects you to say fuck bills, fuck life, leave the company. It was it was a few years ago. He did one of those like walks in the forest kind of thing, and he was like, "If you truly are a FOSS advocate, you cannot work in a proprietary company. You just can't." And that's just like that's like mild bullshit he has said. Like that's like mild when it comes to him. I think I can dig it up and post it on my Discord at some point. But yeah, I made a reaction video to it, and I'm like, if I upload this reaction video, I will probably be kicked off the fucking internet. But yeah, he was like, it's your duty to leave that company. Either if you can't transition it to FOSS, you have to leave that company. It's a fucking license, dude. It's a philosophy. It would be me, like, if you are not like a Catholic or something like that, you cannot work for a Protestant fucking company where the chief is a Protestant or something like that. He worked for Google. Yeah, well, not anymore, apparently. He also used to be a teacher, by the way. And I think he was teaching American Civil War history or stuff like that. Just not much, really. Not much. Just making fun of Linux users and explaining the psychology. Yeah, I think he lives off YouTube now, yeah. Yeah. I think he does that, yeah. I do like my Romanian dudes, though. So I work with people from Lithuania, Romania, Poland. A lot of the Slavic countries, basically. Yeah, so I can't remember the law about Luke Smith, but I think he was like a teacher and then worked for Google, or was both I can't remember it. Bulgaria, I think I worked with someone from there also, yeah. Funny enough, we don't have any Germans. And I live like 30 minutes away from Germany. And I don't think there's one German guy now. Oh, but there's one. But she's like half German and half Danish, so... Oh, I need to get my ass into the gym life again, man. I live in Denmark, in the southern part of Denmark. Queens, I think we have someone from Queens also, yeah. But we have a lot of like students that come to Denmark and take an education. And then when they're not doing their studies, they are working at our place. I don't think we have anyone from the Netherlands either, no. We have quite a few Polish people. I think the majority are like Polish Lithuanian people, if I'm thinking about it. Besides Danish, of course. Anyway, peeps. How long have I been streaming for? What is it saying here? I do like the Polish people, yeah. I've only been streaming for 2 or 3 hours. I still need to go though, because I have some shit I need to do tomorrow. So yeah, I will see you all later. Have a good day and all that shizzle dizzle. Do something fun. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Thanks for the donations and the subs. See you all later. Bye bye.